evening and welcome to this edition of News Leader on 6. I'm Jim Fuller. In tonight's news, the Tullahoma High School senior is shooting for the stars. The Tullahoma HR director is placed on administrative leave by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, and County Mayor Judd Matheny has some information about projects coming to the area. We'll have these stories and more on tonight's News Leader on 6.
Hi, my name is Ringo, here at Barkview Senior Living. They're human-friendly. That's why I love it here, and so does my senior human. When they want a bite, they get chef-prepared meals, and so do I. Movies in the theater, day trips, walks on the trail, and other senior humans to play with. The grass and the grounds are exquisite. It's everything my human needs to be healthy and active. Barkview. Parkview Senior Living. For your dog's best friend, you.
The Duck River Watershed Society wants to invite you to our second annual spring cleanup on Saturday, March 4th at the Fire Lake Public Use and Boat Ramp. We are a nonprofit organization that focuses on ensuring the Duck River Watershed continues to benefit those who live, work, and recreate on it. We need volunteers to help with cleaning up parts of Normandy Lake down to the winter water drawdown line. Sign up at our website, duckriverwatershedsociety.com, and help do your part.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. Since her elementary school days at East Lincoln, Ashley Scott has dominated at archery, winning multiple state and national titles. Earlier this month, she added another title to her collection by winning the national championship in the young adult bear bow division at the Scholastic 3D Archery National Finals held in Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, Scott competed in the young adult bear bow division. During her performance, Scott totaled 253 out of a possible 300 points, hitting 2 X's during her outing. While she had nerves heading into the tournament, Scott said she was able to holster those emotions during her competition. For her winning, Scott received a plaque and 12 scholarship offers from universities around the country, ranging from $1,000 to $2,500. Scott said, quote, "Knowing that I am able to add another national title to my resume makes me want to keep pursuing this dream of mine. It's also a really good confidence booster for my upcoming tournaments that I'm excited to compete in. With this being my first time at this tournament, I felt really out of place, but once I got that first shot off, everything became muscle memory. I wasn't having to overthink what I was doing, and I was focusing more on having fun rather than shooting well. I think I did really well out there, but because I am so hard on myself, there's always a thought that I could have done better. I scored 12 points higher than in practice, which I was happy about," end quote. At her event, Scott competes as a member of the Taylor's archery team, according to her head coach, Josh Harris, who also teaches at West Middle School. Scott's success stories stems from her continuous drive to improve. He also credited Scott's family for giving her an excellent foundation to help her improve. Harris said, "Ashley's success in archery is a product of her hard work, effort, and personal discipline, as well as the support system her parents provide. I'm truly blessed as her coach to get to go tag along for the ride. There is no doubt that her future will be bright," end quote. Following Scott's success in Las Vegas, her high school principal added his congratulations as he was elated for the junior archer. Scott won't have to wait long for the next tournament, as she will compete in the S3DA Eastern Indoor National Tournament early next month. The tournament will occur at the Owensboro Convention Center in Kentucky on March the 2nd through the 5th. When she is not competing in tournament, Scott still spends plenty of time around the sport. She serves as an assistant coach for the College Street Elementary School archery team in Manchester. Scott added, "I'm excited to compete because of how well I've been shooting lately. I think it will go extremely well. The thing that I enjoy the most is seeing the kids' faces when everything clicks. They might be struggling with something and their face might light up when they realize how to do it correctly. That feeling is wonderful, and it lets me know that I really am helping them. Seeing these kids get excited about this sport that I've been doing since their age makes me wonder if there are students who will follow in my footsteps," end quote. From everyone at Newsleader, congratulations, Ashley. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, right after these messages.
Parkview Senior Living, active, independent senior living at its finest.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me at Life Care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. At the most recent Tullahoma Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting, Tullahoma HR Director was placed on paid administrative leave. The prior week, Mrs. Bryce caught Alderman Jenna Armarker in the office going through documents to be shredded and requested Ms. Armarker to leave, but had to find the city administrator, Jennifer Moody, to enforce the request. In this clip from the board meeting, the board weighs in on the merits of the accusations of impropriety handling documents by Mrs. Bryce.
Consider instructing the city administrator interim to place Costa Bryce on paid administrative leave pending, effective immediately, pending effectively upon approval of the pending investigation.
If we do this, then what we're saying is she's guilty of something. Now, I don't see that in any way, that she's guilty of anything. Now, did we have documents that were left out, or do we have documents that we don't know where they went? But now, I just don't see that. The times that I've dealt with her, she's always conducted herself very professionally, and she's done a great job here, and I think you're right. If we go against that now, not only are we going to give this city a black eye, but we're also going to give this city, people are going to look and say, hey, what exactly are y'all doing? And I just don't agree with it at all.
The only comment I'd make is that this is no accusation of guilt. It's merely putting on administrative leave pending the investigation to determine if there is guilt. It's the only comment I have.
I have the obvious question. What are we investigating her for?
We already answered that.
No, we didn't. What are we investigating? What are we accusing her of doing incorrect that prompts an investigation? To investigate somebody, you have to have a cause. You don't just randomly pick somebody out and say, let's investigate them.
It's what item number 15 is.
You have to, so we're accusing her of violating and let's be clear, no documents were shredded. All documents are still intact and under lock and key, not going anywhere. But is that what we're investigating her and putting her on administrative leave for, is possibly violating the retention policy? My voice is cracking. I'm sorry. I don't even need to answer this question. I think this is ridiculous, and I think that we don't have. I would say, I don't know that we even have. I guess she just made the argument that the city administrator doesn't have the authority of a full city administrator, so to do the hiring, the firing, and things like that. So I agree. I think our city administrator does, but she just made the argument that he doesn't have that authority. So I guess we agree with the rules when we want, and we don't when we don't. We just kind of wiggle our way around. This is ridiculous.
Point
of order. I would like for the parliamentarian to keep her commentary as to the Robert's Rules of Orders, not to our municipal code.
Parliamentarians can give me advice when I need it.
Then I want one too, Mr. Mayor. If you're
like a
hiring,
comment, too.
does anybody else want a parliamentarian to advise them? Because I want one too. You don't have the authority to hire a parliamentarian under our municipal code.
Do you have any comments further about
I
this
do.
item?
I made a point of order, and it should be well taken, sir, based on our rules.
Please address the
So
comment that's on the
I
board.
will now address the comments, but all we want to know is, did we destroy any sort of documents, or were we attempting to destroy any sort of documents that could subject us to further liability?
I think that there was someone that came forward that said that I believe there's a breakdown in policy. When we came down to City Hall to see what was happening, it was even per Administrator Moody said that she was unclear what the policy was. And I think that if there's shredding going on and nobody seems to know what policies are in place, what should be or shouldn't be retained or shredded, then that needs to be discovered. You know, that there needs to be an investigation of what the policy is and if it's being followed properly.
You know, I've got one big concern on this, and that is, and I know there's some differences here, but in this item, we're saying to instruct the city administrator, interim, to place someone on leave, and then we go down a few items, and then we're going to say, well, we're also instructing that during the interim, all hires, promotions, demotions, and terminations have to be approved by us at the same time. I feel like we're not on the same page.
Costa Bryce, a 20-plus year stellar employee of this city. I'd certainly hate to see her have to go through that.
I move to postpone a discussion and have another executive session in which to do said discussion due to liability reasons.
We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, right after these messages.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
He's a little bit of you, he's a little bit of me. He's the trash along the roadside of Tennessee. He's the garbage that we find. He's the dream we left behind. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. A throwaway bottle or pop-top can may not seem much to a traveling man, but a little bit of litter goes a long, long way. Rolling and growing, getting bigger every day. Tennessee trash messing up the highways. Tennessee trash dunking up the byways. Lord, there ain't no than Tennessee trash. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash.
We have met the enemy, and he is us.
Welcome back. Coffee County Mayor Judd Matheny has begun a weekly podcast where he plans to break down current issues and accomplishments that affect Coffee County residents. In this clip, he discusses the prospect of county landing a mega site, local road improvements, and the new location of the county health department.
We have what I would call a mega site. I helped build 5 of these when I was a state representative for 16 years. And when I say I helped build 5, I did everything from site visits to voting for the monies, sitting in the negotiations with the corporate heads for the lands and the local governments, and watched how a mega site is built. I'm very confident that the state of Tennessee will buy a good portion, if not all, of about 2,000 acres here about a mile north of Manchester and put it in its inventory for future use. We don't know what that means. Most likely it's going to be some type of industrial site in the future. There's been about $1 million now spent on that land by the state and the federal government for due diligence, wetland delineation, where we're going to put power lines, where we're going to have some protected species and need to avoid them. Spend a lot of gravel put down so that engineers and surveyors could get around, and it's a beautiful piece of land. And we have 3 families that own it, and they've all been very cooperative with us and with the state and the industrial board. They want that land to be left as a legacy to this county as a major wealth and job creator, and I applaud them for that, because that is our objective at some point, to be the greatest unused economic engine that the state of Tennessee has right now, and it's here in Coffee County. And it is realized the governor has put money to buy it in his budget. So there's still some negotiations going on, but there's a substantial amount of money in the budget that I think it shows the governor's very serious. Highway expansion. There's not only do we feel a lot happening here, not only do you see a lot going on in your urban growth boundaries and at your zoning and your planning commission meetings and your board of mayor and alder meetings and your commission meetings. There's so many subdivisions coming online, so many people moving here. There's so many houses that are selling so fast that the state and the federal government also notice this. We have several highway expansion projects that are underway. We have some major intersection improvements, some that are completed, some that are underway. You've seen the large one here in Manchester at 41 and 55. Takes a little while to get used to, maybe with the blinking yellow lights and the left turns and all that. But it seems to be functioning much better, much more smoothly, less congestion. The same thing's happening in a major intersection in Tullahoma. It just so happens that our county health department in Tullahoma is going to lose about 2/3 of its parking lot and its available space to conduct business. And our Manchester one we just closed due to the fact that it's just too aged to continue to put money in it to update it. So we are consolidating our health departments. And the previous administration decided to put the new health department in the Coffee County Joint Industrial Park. So we're working to make sure that we build the best one that we can. We have all the monies available, both through state grants, ARPA money that came down from the federal government through the American Recovery and Relief Act, and then we also have some direct appropriations that we're putting in. The sale of the Manchester Health Department building and the sale of the parking lot to TDOT in Tullahoma from our existing health department are also going to that. So I don't want everybody's eyes to glaze over, but our health department is going to be built. We're going to have a brand new one. It's going to be in the Joint Industrial Park, and it's probably going to be completed within 3 to 4 years. And in the meantime, we're all going to be using Tullahoma, and I'm going to have some extra parking spaces built around the back, an extra 10 to make up for what we've lost. So the highway improvements will affect the health department that way with that new intersection. We have the Highway 41 that is going to be expanded basically from Walmart in Manchester out to ADC Highway. That timeline is 4 to 5 years to actually probably start seeing some utilities moved, some ground being worked up. There's a lot of wetlands to deal with. Still some property acquisition, but it is coming, I assure you. And then also, kind of to my surprise, but to the congratulations of many people, Mike Niederhauser included, who's led a fight to get the widening of Interstate 24, basically from Buchanan Road exit 89 to Pelham, get that widened, 3 lanes, for a whole lot of reasons. Number one, the traffic's starting to hit us. We know we're going to be developing major industrial sites here. The Air Force Base is going through some growth, plus just due to our national defense needs, we need to make sure that interstates are never blocked near this Air Force Base. So I think it's about a $930 million project, joint project between the state and the federal government, but there is money in the state budget this year to start that process, and so I'm excited about that. Going to mean a lot for us long term.
We'll be right back after these messages.
For many senior citizens, life looks like this, but it doesn't have to. When you make your home at Parkview Senior Living, life after retirement takes on a whole new meaning. Daily exercise options, fun outings, happy hour, game nights, movies and popcorn, arts and crafts, enjoying friends over chef-prepared meals. Parkview Senior Living, where you're always home, but you're never home alone.
The Duck River Watershed Society wants to invite you to our 2nd annual spring cleanup on Saturday, March 4th at the Fire Lake Public Use and Boat Ramp. We are a nonprofit organization that focuses on ensuring the Duck River Watershed continues to benefit those who live, work, and recreate on it. We need volunteers to help with cleaning up parts of Normandy Lake down to the winter water drawdown line. Sign up at our website, duckriverwatershedsociety.com, and help do your part.
We tend to lose our motivation when we have something that's chronic, but you've got to do what you can early on as you can. After I'd exercise like that, I would have a lot of energy to do housework or whatever I needed. Well, I would recommend it highly to anyone at any degree of Parkinson.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. We also heard from Mayor Matheny about the plans to build a new state-of-the-art animal shelter in the county.
We still have a little bit of due diligence going on with one of the 3 properties we're looking at, but I think it will be done within about 5 to 6 weeks. It basically includes a survey and another commercial appraisal, and we have an individual that wants to then donate a portion of land for an animal control facility. So we want to get all the paperwork in order and all of our surveys, appraisals, et cetera, in order, make sure that the improvements that we might have to make to the land would be worth it in a donation scenario. And we still need to make sure that once all this information is presented to the current landowner, that they still want to move forward with the process. But I think everything looks good now for us to move forward, and we already have $500,000 in reserve that we set aside to build an animal shelter. We have an anonymous donor who I've talked to many times that has promised another $500,000, wants to do a dollar-for-dollar match from out in the community. So I put together steering to enable that situation. I built a steering committee, and we built a 501c3, the steering committee did, and it's registered with the state and the federal government. It's called Coffee County Cares for Animals. And the steering committee is standing up an entire board of directors who will meet, have their first quasi meeting on February 15th of this month. This board of directors will hire a executive director and a fundraiser, or just a fundraiser maybe for the first couple of years, to come up with a coordinated program to raise $500,000 to draw down that full $500,000. That gives us $1.5 million for our initial build of our animal control facility, plus some other monies I know the commission is going to help with, and some other donations that will also come in afterwards. My intention is for the board to continue after that and to continue to raise money for capital improvements for the shelter so we can add additional services. The bottom line is, yes, I'm an animal lover. Yes, people are more important. I know that, of course. But if your animal, your pet, disappears from your house and you can't find it, I want you to know that if it falls into the hands of our animal control facility, it's going to be safe. It's not going to be, there's not going to be just going straight to euthanasia. That we're not going to ship them off to some northern state, there will be protocols on how to deal with these things and give you the proper time to retrieve your animal. And we will treat all animals humanely there. And we're going to push this process down the road and get it done. Can's been kicked down the road 7 or 8 years. We're going to get it done this year.
You can look up Mayor Matheny's messages by going to the Coffee County Government's YouTube page or by just going to youtube.com at Coffee County, Tennessee. The YouTube page will also contain county commission meetings. Stay with us. Your weather forecast is coming up next.
The Duck River Watershed Society wants to invite you to our second annual spring cleanup on Saturday, March 4th at the Fire Lake Public Use and Boat Ramp. We are a nonprofit organization that focuses on ensuring the Duck River Watershed continues to benefit those who live, work, and recreate on it. We need volunteers to help with cleaning up parts of Normandy Lake down to the winter water drawdown line. Sign up at our website, duckriverwatershedsociety.com, and help do your part.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how sketch is me? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes. Look at that. You even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you got to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
We teach Parkinson's patients how to move big and not let the Parkinson's slow them down. I've had patients I've treated in-house that could not even stand up, could not roll over in the bed, left the facility walking with a walker, have come back to us in outpatient and continued their big program and are now completely, handling life. The success of the program is just phenomenal.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record was in 1961, 73 degrees, 77 lows in 1905, lows in 1958 degrees, at minus 3 degrees. Average high on this day is 53, and the average low is 32. Tonight, look for heavy rain in the forecast with a low cloudy weather in the forecast for tonight with a low of 34. Sunny weather in the forecast for Sunday with a high of 40 and 57 and a low of 43. On Saturday, sunny weather coming back into the forecast. On Monday, expected of 51 and a low of 30, high of 51 and a low of 49. And that's unusually a 40% chance of rain in the forecast for Tuesday, Thursday with a high of 69, 6, 8, and 10 and a low of 50 on 6. You have a good evening.